Hello, everyone, and welcome to another interview on Human. Today, we will be interviewing a woman by the name of Frenchie. That's actually what she goes by. I will let her say her actual name when she comes on the live. She is a woman that is a multi business owner, has worked in the fashion production industry for 15 years, and was also a high school not teacher, but she worked in the field of education. I don't want to butcher her accolades here, but she worked in the field of education for 8 years in high school. In a high school. So what we're going to do now is bring her on. Without further ado, here we go.
Can you see me?
Yes, I can see you. I can see you. How are you doing?
I'm great. I don't know. I don't see myself.
Oh, I can see you 100%.
All right.
Yeah, I can definitely see you. That is for sure. Also, by the way, I like your lighting, like the way you set up everything. Yeah, your audio just went out for some reason though.
You cannot hear me?
Oh, I can hear you now, but when you move back like this for a second, I couldn't hear you.
You cannot hear me when I talk like this?
Oh, yeah, I can hear you now.
All right. How's everybody doing?
Doing great. How are you doing, by the way?
Great. Yeah, the lightning is super simple. I bought a LED light that changed
Hmm.
the colors, $9, and then the same thing for around the TV, and probably $10 on Amazon. So it's really simple.
It fits your branding very well. I've
Yeah,
noticed those are your brand colors. Yes. I
absolutely.
like the way you do that. I watch a lot of your interviews. You do have great interviews. I'm actually happy to have you aboard. Plus the energy you exert, this would be great for the audience itself. So without further ado, please introduce yourself to the audience. Obviously we know that you go by Frenchie, but I didn't want to butcher your real name, and so I would like you to do that honor.
Yeah, obviously this is why I have this nickname. This nickname actually was given by students when I used to work at the high school. So hi everybody. My name is Frenchie. I am a business coach, business strategist. I am from France. I'm an immigrant, and I moved about 10 to 11 years ago now. I can't keep, the time flies so fast. So about 10
Nice.
years ago, from France, from there. And over the past few years, the big breakthrough was back in at the end of 2016, 2017, when I had to make some drastic changing into my life, but we're going to get into that. So I help entrepreneur and aspiring entrepreneur build a brand and scale their businesses. I also help with financial literacy. It's a huge thing, especially if you are thinking or want to build your business. You cannot pass this part. And
Yeah.
I also have a wellness and fitness brand called Athletics by Nutrition. And we're going to get into that, how it's intertwined with everything, because wellness and health in business goes together. You cannot have a business if you're not healthy. So
Mm,
yes,
interesting.
because that's part of also who I am and why I'm here today, was the change in my life. If it was not for me changing my health, I would not made any of those changes.
Wow. Oh, by the way, how do you pronounce your real name?
Okay, Aurélie,
And the last one?
Dubois.
Dubois. Wow.
Aurélie,
Okay. That's nice. Wow. That's a
you.
nice name. Now, I was so curious how you pronounce it. Hold on, your voice went out again.
Oh, I'm sorry. I said that means the golden one.
Oh, wow. Actually fits your aesthetic too, the curls, the skincare. Yeah, I see you.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you so much for
so
being on.
Oh, you're very welcome. And also, thank you for coming on. By the way, I just want to let you and the audience know that we're preparing to bring our interviews live, actually, like start doing them in person. So what I'm going to do with your interview and a couple of interviews in the future is I wrote out a little bit of questions, but I'm also going to wing a part of the interview to get ready for that aspect, just start producing questions in the midst of the interview, So without further ado, we're going to swing into it though. Where are you from in France? Give us some history to who you are.
Really, really getting into this.
Yes.
I'm from the suburb of Paris.
You're from where?
The suburb of Paris, like
The
around,
suburb of Paris.
yeah,
So,
the good part. Like I'm not. People see Paris and they automatically imagine the Tower Eiffel, which is the 16 arrondissement. It's the most famous part and the most richest part of Paris. I'm not from there, guys. Right?
okay.
A lot of people that say, "Oh, you're from France, you're from Paris," and they automatically imagine that it's the beret, the baguette under the arm, and all that kind of stuff, or day or things like that. No, no, no,
Okay.
no.
So, well, what is a misconception that people have about Paris in general that you think?
Well, I found out that I'm not speaking for everybody, but I found out that a lot of people, they think that, this is really romance and all that stuff. I'm not saying that it cannot be, but when you're from over there, like for us, when we're viewing America, we're thinking of, the High School Musical, all things like that, like stereotype, right? Crime,
Hmm.
things like that. Everybody eating burgers every day, which is true. but but I also realized, when I start working at different, industry in the U.S. is all the time they were thinking really that I was from the richest part, that I would have Louis Vuitton, bags or Chanel or things like that, and like the stereotype, right? That everything is
Right.
cool, and it's like any major city. You have the good area and you have the not so good area, but it's it's
Wow.
it's definitely not what you can see in movies all the time.
Mm. Wow. How was it growing up there?
I have nothing to compare to another country, right? What I can say is that because my daughter got raised half here and half over there, I can say that it's different. The schooling system is different. We live life differently, I would say. Working as well, corporate, because I come from corporate in France. I was for over 15 years in the fashion industry in Paris, and
Hmm.
loved my job. I really did. And I would say that the working conditions are different. In France, we are on first, it's indeterminate contract. That means they cannot just fire you just like that. You got
Wow.
at will contract. So they have to let you know if they want to let you go. They have to let you know 3 months in advance. They have to give you time to go and look for jobs. There it's really regulated completely differently. So most of the time when people do have corporate job in the U.S., in France, it's usually you keep a job for a long time, unless you have a promotion,
Wow.
something else. But you don't get laid off just like that. Like here, just pack your stuff, you're done for the day. Um,
Yes, that's exactly how
so,
it is.
so there's the second thing is we have that law that passed, a long time ago, but we work 40 hours a week. But we get paid 40 hours a week, but we only work 35. So they give you also 1 day per month for yourself. It's called a day for yourself. And then
Wow.
we have 4 week to 12 weeks vacation per year paid. So and then
How many weeks? Can you repeat that for me?
4 to 12. It depends on how many was the company. And then same thing. Maternity leave is completely different. So well, moving to France, yeah, and we have universal healthcare. We're not scared to go to the hospital. We're not scared. Well, I'm not scared to going to the doctor. We don't go to the hospital like here. People go to the hospital for any like bug bite.
Right, right.
But that's because feel like the healthcare system here is so high that, you know, I remember working at the high school, they were taking $800 out of my paycheck for healthcare, and I was barely going to the doctor, or barely, because I had this, you know, this way of, you know, if you really, if you're really not sick, you don't just go to a doctor. You know, cold is a cold. But anywho, all I'm saying is there is advantages, but there is also, I'm going to say now, the fact that I would not be where I'm at today. I would not be able to do the same thing in France, which is saying, great, and I'm going to start my company. There's a lot more regulation here in the US. It's so easy to start a business, right? You can go to
Wow.
eight websites and apply for an LLC. It takes 5 minutes. It costs you nothing. You get your EIN number for free on the IRS.gov, and then you're good to go. You are, you know, considered as a business, right?
Right.
And people don't judge you as saying, oh, well, people can judge, you know, around you, saying you're crazy to do that, but no one is stopping you or saying, you know, well, you were in accounting, why are you now being a gardener? You know, if you do so, you can. In France, they will ask you, or they will require you to get certain type of licensing or showing proof that, you know, you're going to be able to sustain a business. So I would say this:
Interesting.
entrepreneur in France means that you really have to have, you know, a big gut, because it's going to cost you a lot more than what it is here. And second, you're not going to get all the help here. Funding is not that hard. All you have to do is having a proper, you know, personal healthy credit score to get it started. And then after that, there is so many ways to get funding without using yourself as personal guarantee. So you can scale a business in the US very, very fast. And we've seen that in 2020, when a lot of people went into entrepreneurship, sometimes for good things, sometimes for not so good things, because everybody starts feeling entitled that they can be, or they think that they can be the boss, when it takes a lot of money and time and dedication to be a boss.
Indeed.
That's also something that, you know, I will consider myself as being different than other, you know, business coach, or, you know, it's a lot of title. Here is a lot of are self-proclaiming them.
Self-proclaiming.
Yes. So, so
True.
I'm very good, or I would say this is that I really am about telling the truth, or my truth, to people that I work with, because I don't want to just, you know, say that I'm going to work with you if I see that your foundations are not in place. There is no way for me to let somebody know, and it's not to kill their vibe, right? It's simply to practical, because most of the time they have a family and they want something better for themselves, like I did, right? I had to better myself, and I still had to jump, but I did it a certain way that it was, you know, calculated risk. That's the biggest
Indeed.
thing, you know.
What I want to do is I want to lead up to that. I do have some questions that, of course, lead up to that. I just want to dive into different parts of your life. By the way, I want to say I did not know that you were a mother. I also am interested in exploring how that impacted your drive, too. But we'll get to that in a second. What impact did your parents have on you growing up while you were being raised?
Huge. So I have parents that are also from, you know, different background, and and so huge. I had actually parents that were extremely strict, and
You said they were extremely
strict.
Strict. Okay.
Yeah.
Continue.
Strict. And so I would say that, you know, but they had values. So I'm going to say this, I'm going to leave people with that. I was raised with a lot of values. So very humble family, you know, not poor, not rich, but with a lot of values. The love was given by letting us, you know, explore the stuff that we want, but we have to show that we really want it. So nothing was given, no, you know, like people give money to their kids per week or something like that to do
allowance.
Allowance. Thank you.
You're welcome.
That was none of that. It's like you live here, you're gonna do it. Like you're gonna participate in those chores for the family. So it was a lot of also motivation from the parents. Like you can do whatever you want, but you're gonna have to get it yourself. We're gonna support, but and you're not allowed to quit. You're allowed to be able to make mistakes, but you're not allowed to quit. So my dad,
Mm.
I had a very strong relationship with my dad, and that was the biggest thing was, you know, I know you're a girl, whatever, but he instilled in me a lot of, you know, that warrior spirit of, you know, you know gonna know how to change a tire, you know, gonna know how to look into, you know, your car. This is how that works. You gonna,
Wow.
you know what I mean, to be self, not to be like I don't need anybody, but it's like you want to be
Self-sufficient.
self-sufficient, absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Self problem solving, and then if I messed up at something, it's like, well, what you gonna do? Well, we're gonna figure it out. So that was, you know, that part, and then the fact that they were so strict, so it actually instilled in me to be a little bit slick with, you know, I gotta figure out how they're not gonna find out. So that helped me a
Wow.
lot in that department. So I always have the plan B, just in case.
Always have a plan B.
Yes.
I'm actually operating off my plan B right now. um,
It's always good.
what
You have to strategy for everything. Yeah.
You know, that's interesting. I do want to touch on that a little bit later too. Just remind me to bring it up about the unknown. I feel like in business, a lot of people don't talk about the unknown and how honestly you can't prepare for it. But if you leave space for the unknown, it gives I don't know, just gives you room to for things that because we plan our whole lives, right? Sometimes and sometimes that's very rigid. And I watched a person plan their whole lives, but they didn't plan for COVID. And COVID came and it collapsed all their plans together, but they didn't leave space for the unknown, that little bit of wiggle room that allows you to kind of just free flow and navigate through certain things, you know?
So
But
there are things when they start a business or
mhm.
any, you have to put two things in mind. One is you have to be prepared. The word prepared. Prepare to succeed and prepare to fail.
Interesting.
For both of them.
Interesting. We're gonna touch on that too. Um, what is one thing you admired about your parents growing up that you took with you into being an adult? Like
Re-
any value, characteristic? Oh, go ahead.
Resiliency and ability to adapt no matter what. My
Mm.
my mom come from um, North Africa, and so she didn't really went to school or things like that, and she started actually learning how to drive, how to ride a bike, how to swim. Actually, she started learning how to swim when she was pregnant with me, my dad told me. So my dad was a big, you know, like a partner in that area to teach her all the stuff at a very later age,
Oh,
to you know, doing, keep on doing things even though, you know, you feel like, you know, it's either later on in life, or, you know, you feel like you're behind or something, but there is no way
right.
that, you know, you can't achieve it if you put your mind into it. So I would say this is resiliency, and ability to adapt. So when things, you know,
Mm.
happen, it's like instead of, you know, feeling all down, it's you're allowed to feel all down because, you know, it's when it happened, but don't stay in that emotion too long. Do not stay
Right.
too long. That's gonna take all that energy for you to fight back. So this is why I also practice a lot of
Sure.
um, combat movement. It's because it also instills. It's not just being badass. It's also because it my brain that you gotta get back up. You're gonna be kicked out in life. You're gonna get punched, right? There's
This
gonna
is true.
be down. Same thing with business, especially in business. So you have to learn that very young, that, you know, you have to find all the strength to fight back no matter what. So yeah, that I would say that
Wow.
that's the two biggest that stayed from my parents, but a lot more other values as well.
Wow. Amazing. Those
Yes.
are two those are two values that are very important for someone to keep going in day-to-day life, especially someone like yourself, multi-business owner and mother, right? That really shocked me. I'm like, that's cool.
Yes.
Um, what is one tradition from your culture you still practice till this day?
What can you
What is one tradition from your culture that you still practice till this day?
um I'm upfront. I'm upfront.
Okay.
I tell like it is. I'm not afraid to speak my mind. I think a
You're
lot
up front. I thought you were saying a word in French. I'm so sorry. Go
of
ahead, continue. It's the way it blended together. Continue.
yeah,
Okay.
I'm upfront. That means I feel like a lot of people are afraid to speak their mind. Or there is always that feeling of regret because they wish that they could have say what how they feel or what they think really or they so that's
Mm,
what I'm like. I'd rather be upfront and you're not guessing, right? And
mm.
tell my truth. I tell the truth or I tell my truth, and that's after that it's let's see how you perceive it. If we can work on this or find a solution, but
Hmm.
I'm gonna tell
I
you it is.
want to ask you a question. Do you believe that there's multiple ways to be upfront? Like, do you think that there's a way that's kind of comes off kind of brute, or
Yeah,
it's just being upfront? Because I hear people talk about being upfront, and sometimes
it's
I
how
see that it's always communicated with just like an edge to it. And I'm like, well, when I am upfront with people, I usually am like very calm, very casual about it, but I'm still getting my point across, you know? I understand the point of being stern, but I don't understand when people want to be overly aggressive
exactly.
about being upfront. So what is your take on that?
You're right, and you have the perfect method, which is you can't you don't have to be. I was about to say a bad word, so you you don't have
Hold
to
on,
be.
hold on. You don't have to be mean. Hold on, you keep cutting out. I'm sorry.
Um,
Say no,
um,
no,
you
go ahead.
you don't have to be mean to say what you want to say, but you have to also be mindful and be open-minded that the person have every right to don't agree with you, or counterpart what you are saying as well. So it's
Mm,
more about you can deliver your message in a way that they're gonna understand that this is how you feel, how you view things, but you're not doing that on the purpose of hurting them or hurting their feelings. So there is way, like you said, you were very calm. You very calm when you say what you want to say, and that's the best way. But it's also to have that door open, saying what you think about it, or things like that. So it's not this is what I said and this is how it's going to be, because then that's
right.
selfish. You're not looking for having a conversation. You're just looking to just say what you want to say and leave it at that, and that's not the proper way.
Right.
Be
And
constructive.
you say keep it what?
Constructive.
Yes, keep it constructive. Also, I believe in communicating with compassion. I did discover that watching a YouTube video. There is a way to communicate with compassion and still be stern with people. I think that the only reason why I want to highlight that, especially being upfront, is because I feel like we live in a day and age where people might have certain things misconstrued, that you may have to be brute when it comes to communicating your stance in an argument. You know, there is a now I do understand that people also get caught up with passion too, right? Like sometimes I might get into maybe a dispute of some sort, and my passion may get involved because I'm really passionate about what I'm speaking about in the moment, you know, especially when it comes to my brand and such things, right? So I could understand how that could be confused for me being a slight bit rude, but I do catch myself if it tends to go into a certain flow,
You,
right?
you
So
point out the emotional part.
I
Being
do.
is basically overly emotional about something. So it's all about being able to control your emotion. Um,
Right.
and that's why sometimes it's good to take a step back. If something upset you, just step back. Right now, it's probably not the time to talk about it because you're going to talk out of your emotion instead of seeing exactly what the situation is all about.
Mm.
So I would rather stepping back and said, if something upset me, it's like, I'm gonna leave now, or I'd rather, hanging out right now and let me have some time.
Right.
I didn't take it very well, so time. So, instead of, coming back with, being, like I said, verbally aggressive or being defensive on something,
Yes.
that's
Yes.
hard. But, the control of emotion is not an easy thing, right? So,
It is not.
trauma of, past, situation that can remind us and trigger some stuff. It takes a long time. So I had to work on that as well.
Indeed. I'm still working on that, till this day. I've been through a ton. One day I'll tell my story on human, but you said I should?
Yeah, you should.
Yes, indeed. I do like the comment. Let's circle back soon. Emotional control is valuable. I
So,
do really appreciate that. I do think that is a topic that we will discuss here on Human in the future, on Human Campfire Sessions.
you should have Cornelius. Cornelius is amazing. You two should go live, or you should interview him.
No problem. Well, let him know to reach out to me,
Yeah.
and or I will reach out to him, and we'll just keep flowing forward with this interview that we got here today. What are some of the differences that stand out between the American culture and the culture of France? I am really curious about this.
Oh my gosh, I don't want to make people.
Mm, mm, It's okay. It's okay. Express it. Keep it real. Be upfront.
Yeah, my time.
Huh?
I'm gonna say. um, I would say that a lot of people are not backing up their word. Their word.
Where?
A lot of people are saying a lot
Mm-hmm.
of stuff, but they're not backing up what they are saying.
Where at? In
From,
America?
yeah.
I agree. Oh, can we expound on that? Why do you think that is?
Keeping up with instant gratification. It feels good to say
Mm.
things.
Mm-hmm.
Had no intention on following up with their word,
Mm.
and then they find ways to backing that up, and then until you give up or some type of things like that. So
Wow. Interesting. Instant gratification. Here we are on Instagram, right? Talk about instant gratification. Do you think that social media plays a part in people not keeping up with their word? I mean, because things sound good in the moment, and then sometimes it's kind of hard to follow through with what is being said. I think every once in a while we fall short on our word, even maybe to ourselves. But the pattern of such, yeah, how do you see social media being intertwined with that? And also on the flip side of that, where do you think this habit comes from? It's a bad habit.
so the first thing is that before even social media, I think we
Hmm.
always in battle within ourselves for different things, right? We know what's right. We know what we would like to do, to be, to feel, but it takes time, and people are not.
Hmm.
And especially with now, more we go on with life, more we are used to getting stuff now on the go, ready now. You being served right away. You don't wait. Like me,
Mm.
wait. So then we getting used to that. So when we're not seeing instant results, we quick on, well, it doesn't work. Let me try something else. We don't even take the time to assess if we are giving enough time to nurture something so it can instill. That's where the habit come from. Habits are formed by repetition. If you don't produce those repetition, relentless repetition. It's not going to,
Mm.
therefore the result are not going to be there. So now it's, I want to make money right away. I want to lose the weight right away. I want to gain the muscle right away. I want to speak on another language in 3 weeks. I want to, you know what I mean?
Mm.
All the stuff. I want to be good at this skill in 1 month. So you have all those courses out there, or all those people who are promising you some sort of, result within an amount of time. We're putting time on everything. And sometimes
Mm.
not even taking that time to see if, first, am I doing this right? Where can I improve? Am I the problem? So
Wow.
we're not taking time anymore. We understand the value of time, or sometimes some people don't, but we're not even taking that time. And so when you talk about social media, there is also that part of, we are not polluted, because there is great things on social media. It's always what you choose to take from, but people are
Like that.
really exposed every single day. We have so many content to consume every single day.
Mm.
Double tapping, and it's like, now just for 24 hours you have this offer, or just this, or that weekend's gonna, and so it makes you that FOMO, fear of missing out on something.
Mm.
And so that's that part. It's everything got to go quick. So the attention span of people is also very quick. This is why now you have the short video, because people cannot even wait. They want to be instantly getting this thing that's going to either interest them, make them feel good, make them laugh, intrigue them, within less than 10 seconds. Because now the short videos, this is what it's for. The reels, the short videos, all that stuff. Everything needs to be, in a short amount of time. You have to grasp people's attention in less than 10 seconds. And so again, it's like, it's basically putting also in the front of your face that person is doing this, or that person is now doing that. So it's like, maybe I want to have her type of life, because that's what I'm seeing on Instagram, which is
Mm.
not real, guys.
You said it's not. Hold on. Can you say that for the people again in the back? You're skipping out a little bit.
90% of what you see on Instagram is not real, fully real. They are hiding, you the outcome. So that's the other part. What you see is an outcome. Ask those people how long it took them to get there. Ask those people how much they lost in order to gain this. Ask those people how many people they lost in order to get there. Ask those people what type of sacrifice they've done in order to get there.
Mm. Mm. It's another thing. It's not welcomed sometimes when you post content that's less than polished. Let's put it that way. Things that are not polished, and because a lot of people don't know that a lot of what they're getting is, like what you said, a finished product of someone, rather than their journey and what they've had to go through to actually start to get to where they're at now. It's rare that I see that. I don't really see too many people talking about, I don't know, a bad day. Like, just talk about a bad day, right? Like, I don't see that too much. And if you do see negative on Instagram, it's like heavy negative, like fighting or something of that nature. It's
So there is now, we're shifting a little into the algorithm. People are more tend into the real thing. So you have a lot more content that, this is why we're getting to that part of, we actually watching people getting up, fake waking up, fake cleaning the house, fake doing laundry, right? A house that is already clean is being cleaned again. But you know what I mean? So, but it's sort of, you have to maintain some sort of,
so your whole life becomes almost fake.
It's a show.
Am I?
It's a show. You become an actor of your life, and people are there to watch. So,
Wow.
sometimes it can be good, because some people are going to keep it real. I follow people that are keeping it 100, right? So again, it's all about you. You have amazing thing happening in those social media platform. I just, am mindful of how I use the platform. It like
Mm.
food is nurturing. You need food. Food is amazing. Food can heal you, but food can also kill you if you don't use the proper food. So that's
Wow.
like anything in life. Is what you do with it. What do you choose to do with it? Do you take the time to educate yourself on what's good for you? Do you know what's good for you? Do you know how good you are?
Wow. Wow. I wanted to go ahead and also integrate something that I've seen in the comment section, which was, and I'm going to rephrase it right now, is what is the difference, in your opinion, between authentic and scripted content?
Um, you'll know what is authentic and what is scripted. So you have also some people who are going to take the downside and want to show the downside, but that's going to be at their advantage, right? So it's like still scripted. Let me show you how,
Mm.
or things like that. I mean, don't nobody have time when you're on the downside to record yourself when you're not right.
Interesting.
That's something, but you can share your story of what happened to you. Like I've been doing that before. Sometimes I will, I'm not very good at sharing a lot of things about my personal life, because I think that I'm here for business, but I also understand that people, in order to work with you, they need to understand who you are, right? So
Right.
I can't hide and just provide what it is about business, when actually it takes a lot of personal behavior and mindset in order to build a proper business. So I have to, be a little bit more, like I made a post yesterday, a little bit more social butterfly, but in the right way. You don't have to do what everybody else is doing, but you
Hmm.
have to absolutely have in mind, what do my target audience need, right?
Mm.
It's
Ooh, this is interesting.
like people are
Mm.
have that they probably think that that is cool, or think that, like, many times I'm going to post something that is, I know that that's what they are going to need in their business, but they're not ready to receive that.
Mm.
I'm like, I need to shift that and go back to what is really, but I'm not going to post something that I don't feel like it should be, because that's not me.
Understandable. Interesting. Interesting.
So
In the comment section, someone said it comes down to a level of transparency with a specific
I
intent.
support
Interesting.
them too. Yes. Uh-huh.
Yes. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. I wanted to go back to when you said including the personal aspect into business. So when I was growing up, and several times, obviously in my older years as I am now, I heard someone say, it's business is nothing personal. And I was always bewildered by that, because I was like, that doesn't make any sense. If you're a person conducting business, it's personal to a degree to you, I understand how people want that disassociation to deal with numbers, and sometimes you accidentally turn people into numbers, especially when it comes to marketing. Marketing has this thin line where it's like you got to really be careful. That's why I like to just organically do human. I don't really. I do have some plans, but I don't look at things the way that other people in business do. I can definitely say that, because what I own has to retain a human aspect to it, So it's very interesting. What do you feel about that, though? Especially here in America, that has been a phrase that has been heavily used. It's
It's not.
it's business, it's nothing personal. And so with you just saying that, it kind of actually debunks that phrase, in my opinion. So continue, especially in the age of social media, where you're sharing yourself personally. Even if you add a strategy to yourself, even if you are acting, you're still getting kind of personal with them.
Yeah.
So
Well, sometimes people are oversharing, or me, I undershare. But
me too.
but it's, I have no right to judge those people who feel like, they feel good about sharing every little thing of what they do.
Mm.
And some people are there to consume their content, and they're looking for that. And sometimes I'm like, this is what we have the word called influencer, but they're looking for some sort of guidance. So most of the time we are on the social platform is to see inspiration, right? Being motivated, uh, um,
Right.
guided in some type of way of being educated, so or entertained. So
Right.
maybe for entertainment, but how do you put that all together? That makes sense, right? So it's always, this is why we have stuff on algorithm and rotation is, today I'm going to educate more, and then the next one's going to be more a little bit about triggering an emotion, that's going to make them, yeah, that's right, I need to do better at this, or they for it, right? So this is how you have to do what it is and what type of audience you have, but you should not become somebody that you're not. But the level of transparency is when you choose to stay true to yourself and not fitting a box or a mold. But you have to understand that I'm in the business of service, right? I can't just decide and say it the way I say it goes. I have to also understand where they are coming from. And most of the time that I can say that I have something that we can connect, and this is how most of the time I work with people or attract people, is because they're like, man, I can relate to this because I'm speaking my truth again. And so it's by sharing. So all the stuff that sometimes I linger to, do, this is where something like this post was like nothing about business, but people related to that part. And that's where I realized the mind have to be there first, right? Something needs to be triggered there.
Right.
Then get onto the business part. So
interesting.
Yeah. So it's business is not personal. There is always a little part of being personal, and there is a big part that needs to be business. A lot of people think also that
Interesting.
supposed to be supported by their coworker, friends, family. This is not, this is great if they do, but if they don't, it should not matter. You're not in business for your family. You're in business for something else. So that's where I'm like, I have to sometimes tell people, like, look into why are you doing this? What's the point and what's the goal? Right? So then you're going to be disappointed and hurt.
Interesting. I see we went a long way from the difference between American culture and the French culture, but I wanted to sit here and ask another question. In America, do you think that a lot of things are hype? Like it's a lot of hype going on here. Like we have hype. I like to say hyper individualism is one of the things that I've noticed, which is like me. I have to have it. I have to have it. It's no matter what I got to do, I'm going to make it, so it's a very interesting thing that we kind of live underneath here. And how does that look from someone that has lived in France? Your upbringing is in France. What does that look like? Is there more community over there versus the individualism that we kind of experience here a lot too?
I would not say that you guys don't have community. I think that sometimes it's, I would say this. So yes, you guys are entertainers. This country is full of entertainment. Even for elections are entertainment. It's a show. You guys have balloons and stuff popping out for a presidential election or stuff. It's a show. Everything is a show. You guys celebrate a lot. You guys are, you celebrate everything. Even like when I used to work, like it's everybody celebrates some. We celebrated some. We gotta celebrate. Wow. We celebrate even like, people who are not in first place. We're going to celebrate you. We're going to celebrate, I don't know, I got a new car celebration. You get what I'm saying?
So I get what you're saying.
It's you guys entertain a lot. You guys want the big show, a 1-year-old birthday, like baby don't care. Baby, going to be happy with whatever you're going to provide. You get what I'm saying?
Yes, I get it. That's funny.
Culture is to celebrate, which is great. Maybe, my culture should celebrate a little more. My culture is a little bit more downer. We're going to see like, this might not work out, So that's saying it's like we're more cautious. There you go. We're more cautious and we're more to ourselves. But
Interesting.
yes, so that's that part. But I love to celebrate too. But in a fashion of we don't have to celebrate everything. I want to celebrate something that is really meaningful. But for people, maybe those things are very meaningful and they need to have that. So who am I to come from another, culture and country and say, this is stupid. This is not, this is how you guys, been and operate. And I'm here. I have to respect that. And there is nothing for me to say like, you shouldn't do it, or like, especially for my daughter, like a lot of, the sleepover. I learned to sleep over. We don't do things like I have kids in my home. I don't know, like that's a big responsibility to me. But or me, I was not comfortable to go to strangers' house, or I don't care if they sound all right. I don't know what's going on behind doors. I'm not leaving my kid at a stranger home overnight that I don't know.
Wow.
That's different things. So some people were like, oh my gosh, like you don't let your kid go to those things. I'm like, I don't know those people. I don't know those people. Who invented
Wow.
sleepover stuff? This got
Who invented that sleepover stuff?
yeah. So
Wow.
that's get me. But again, this is shock of the culture was more for me to understand that I have to also accept how it is. It's not because I was not brought up this way or things like that my way is better than it is. So it's just it's
Interesting.
yeah. It's different.
Wow.
It's different.
It is. I've never lived overseas. I do want to eventually move overseas to get a taste of a different culture altogether.
Yeah.
That was great. That was great. That piece about who invented the sleepover. Yeah.
Early every weekend, things like that. So yeah, I never grew up with doing those type of things. I was barely allowed to go to birthday parties, and we never really celebrated birthday parties like that with a bunch of kids. That you have to pay for all the kids. So it's different. It's just different. Mhm.
Wow.
Yeah, or high school. So you have all those things, prom, and I'm like,
I've never been to high school, so
oh,
don't forget. I've never seen what the inside of a high school even looks like.
I
That's just like a sneak peek into my life. Yeah, I don't know what high school is.
absolutely
Huh?
have to tell your story because it sounds already interesting, and I have questions already.
No problem.
Yes.
We're just going to make sure that the interview stays on you, Frenchie. All right. Yes, indeed. It would be great for us to connect again, even after the interview. I would love to speak to you, one on one, so you could get kind of a sneak peek of who I am and what the platform stands for. But moving forward, I wanted to say, how did you get into the fashion industry?
Okay, so I actually was in between. I was starting to learn English. So the first language. So in France, same thing. The educational part is different. We learn languages when we're in middle school. Oh no, actually in elementary. And very young, I saw that, and I didn't like that teacher. That English was not going to be my thing. And look at where I'm at now. And so I started Spanish because Spanish also was more fun because if you were taking English, you had to go to England. England is raining all the time. They eat pudding. They have jelly beans, all that kind of stuff. It didn't sound welcoming, but if I learned Spanish, now I can go to Spain. Flamenco, the food thing, the sun, all that stuff. I want to learn Spanish, and also because I'm telling you the truth, and also because Spanish is close to my language. It's Latin.
Yes, it is. It's next door. Yes, it is.
So it was like, I'm like,
Wow.
do Spanish, and it became something that I like it. And so I actually lived in Spain for 8 months. And that was a great experience as well. But at the point I realized when I was getting older and everything that I saw that English was like everywhere that I wanted to get a job or whatever, they were asking for English, and my English was very, very bad. So I decided to take a visa, a student visa, and be an international student back at SIU, Southern Illinois University in Carbondale, Illinois.
Okay.
And to me also was like a huge experience. Like, I'm going to be in school in the US, like, you know, so I was expecting the same thing of campus life that I was seeing on you know, on TV, right? But I decided, because it was way crazy expensive, I decided to be a au pair, which is like a nanny for a American French family that had 4 kids. So I was living at their place and help them with the kids. And I was taking my courses and my classes most of the time at night. So that way I could help them with that. And I didn't have to pay for, you know, where I was living. And they gave me their beat up second car, but I had like a vehicle. So that was an interesting thing for me to learn, like how you guys drive with those, you know, in France we have sticks, right?
Oh yeah. This stick shift.
Yeah, for us,
Yes.
for handicapped people. So so I had to, you know, I mean, of course, you know, it's not hard, right, to drive automatic. And so but yeah, this is how I started. I went to SIU as an international student, was with bunch of other people from other countries, the Japanese, the Chinese girls, the, you know, the
Wow.
friend from Egypt and Morocco, and you know, I get like some good memories in that. And so my goal there, the thing is, I realized that university in the US, it's more about, it's 4 years that kids trying to figure out who they are and what they're gonna do. It's like, it's the 4 years of mistake. I was completely different because I was not staying on campus, but I knew that it was costing me so much money that I need to get that degree. So you guys can party, all that stuff, I'm not here for that. So I was like, well, you guys never study. So yeah, so I was there a year and a half, and I kept on bumping up my level and stuff like that, because I'm like, I don't have money to spend. So I don't have money to waste. It costs money to get that visa stuff. So I was there for like, actually almost a year and a half to 2 years, and I got my degree, my GMAT, marketing and technology.
GMAT?
Yeah.
And marketing?
Yeah. And so, and then I went back, and then they had a position in the warehouse. So I was, you know, back at my parents' place, all that stuff. And I was
in France. This is in France.
Yeah, I moved back from having my degree, because I saw that everything that I needed for France, or to get like a proper job, I needed to have English. That was something that I was questioning all the time. And me with my Spanish is cute, but that's not getting me hired. So so I did that, came back, and they had a position in a warehouse, and I was just doing that to transition and not being stable, not having a job, right? My parents would not allow me that. So I got a job and was actually at the warehouse doing, you know, typing work, all the loads of the truck coming with all the clothing in that company, Chevignon, in France. And I started that way. I work as a temp for 3 months there. And then from there, they said, well, you learn super fast, all that stuff. They're looking for an assistant collection upstairs in and in the headquarters. You know, it's just a position for 3 months again. I was like, I'll do it, you know. So that's the thing, is me, it's like, I'll do it. Like, there's always something that you can learn. So I'm not afraid to try something new. I think that anything in my life I've never been afraid to try something. So, right? So I'm like, I don't know nothing.
Take risks.
I don't know nothing about fashion, but they need somebody to help them type the fashion, you know, style, you know, fiche technique, all that kind of stuff that I had no clue what that was. And so I went up there, did that. They were giving me pieces of, you know, cloth, and I was like, what is this? And they said, that's, you know, and they said, send this to Hong Kong, send this to that. And I was like, what kind of thing is this? Like I said, I was, but I had to translate certain things, or taking phone calls, or making collections you know, when they were doing fashion show. And then I started seeing, they were like, oh, can you help with the fashion show? I'm like, that sounds fun. Yeah, I want to, you know, come and install the light, or, you know, help prep, you know, the stuff. Again, all this, I never get into my mindset like I don't know nothing about fashion. It's more like, just show me or tell me how that works. You know, I'll get to it.
Figure it out.
And that's what they saw in me. And so then after that, they're like, well, we would love, like, you're very efficient. And so that's the same thing. It's something my parents told me that it's, again, it's like, you know, if you say you're going to do something, you got to do it. And so, and don't half-ass something. So, so I would say that my perseverance to tell myself that even though I'm not per se right now qualified, I'm going to learn about it, and I'm going to practice, and I'm going to ask questions, and so this is where literally from the warehouse, then I left, before I left from France to the US, I was in the production manager. So I was traveling to different countries, to my suppliers, to the factory, to do the collection, to verify, and like I'm not all of the things.
Are there any brands that you've worked with that we know by any chance?
Chauvignon. So it's very well known in France, and actually we have basically stores in Hong Kong, and we have one in Los Angeles, one in New York.
Wow.
So it is, you know, it's not like per se the big well-known stuff, but it's high-end fashion industry. So
wow. And what is the difference between something being well-known and high-end? Please define that for someone.
Our t-shirt was sold euros.
Hold on. Oh. You said the t-shirt was sold for 75 euros. You cut out for a second there.
Our t-shirt was sold for around 55 to 75 euros, which is a little bit over $80 for a t-shirt. So, but
wow.
Material, the stitches, the details, the quality of, you know, the fabric, the process time, that all that stuff was, you know, high-end, right? So
wow.
it's not this is where, you know, in the category of the high-end fashion, that's where it stands at. You have a lot of French companies or French brands that are not super well known here, but like I see now, Celine is coming up here.
Right.
A lot of people are wearing Celine. Celine is so compare that. That's the same kind of thing. So who knows? Maybe
interesting.
You know, soon. Or like I see people wearing Lacoste, the crocodile. Lacoste.
Yeah, the crocodile. Yeah, that's been around for a while. Actually, it's been well known for a while. Yes, in America it has. Interesting. Is Lacoste that's a French brand too?
Yeah, it is a French.
Interesting.
It's more sportswear, so it's for tennis.
Wow. People usually just wear it, you know, because they had the crocodile on it.
Because it's been recognized as being, you know, for the rich people. That's why.
Interesting. What is a misconception that people have about the fashion industry?
That they think the Louis Vuitton, the way it costs, doesn't cost that much.
Hold on, repeat that. Sorry, you cut out a little bit there.
They're wasting money on all those, you know, they think that paying something over $1,000, $2,000, $3,000 for a purse, but that doesn't, you know, it's not even the price. So they're paying for the brand. They're paying for, you know, the recognition of saying that I have that type of brand. But the quality is, you know, you can have quality leather, you know, purse that don't cost that much. You simply paying for the brand.
Wow. Isn't that a trick, huh? So what is interesting. So what makes a brand high end? And are high end brands the ones that we don't see, like the ones that are not often spoken about? I remember running into a brand called Ferragamo at one point. And it started to come up, started to become popularized. But I did kind of look at their quality and was like, it seems like they have a great quality too. So I was just wondering, what does that look like? Because it seems like a lot of the high end stuff, not Gucci, not Louis, but the stuff that we're not able to pronounce the name of it, seems to be the actual
Exactly.
brands that make quality stuff.
Yeah.
So.
So basically, when you buy those, those brand name, you're paying for the brand more than anything. And like I said, you're paying for getting that recognition that comes with it, right?
Mm.
It's nothing to do. Most of the time, people flaunt what they have, not what actually the product is. It's more about look at what I got, right? So
Mm.
I must have the money or whatever. But now it loses its intention, I would say, because a lot of people are just wearing it but the lifestyle don't match either.
A
So,
lot of what it looks like compared to what it is. I understand.
exactly. So it's like, you're doing to yourself. You're doing more harm, to yourself than anything else. So, if you're doing it because
Mm.
you're really into fashion or things like that, that's a different thing. You will look into recognizing how the product is done. Usually most of the time you're paying for customer service, all kinds of stuff like that. But quality, you can find extremely well done and quality products in brands that are not that well known. So sometimes people feel like
Mm.
because they're paying that much, that must be good.
Mm. Oof. This leads back to a part in the conversation we had earlier about people not keeping their word to themselves, but this is a little bit different. And also the instant gratification tied in with people posting on Instagram and just posting things for the sake of it, the sake of how it looks, rather than what is kind of really going on. And that definitely plays into this part of the conversation where we're now speaking about people buying things for what it looks like. And, I've been guilty of that before, buying things for the way it makes you look compared to what it really is. I mean, listen, if you don't have it, you should not, number one, be wearing it. And two, if you don't have it like that. And two, it's really not, I don't think, one day I was, just a quick story. One day I was at a place, I'm not going to get too descriptive,
Yeah.
but I don't visit these places kind of often, and somebody brought me. And one thing that came out of my mouth was, it was a lot of what it looks like compared to what it was. There was a lot of people throwing money away, knowing that their community needed the money, right? And so you're spending time showing other people what you have rather than you actually putting
Yeah.
work into yourself and your community, so very interesting.
Yes, I really vouch on leadership as well. So, to be a great leader, usually it's not so much of what you have, is what you can give or give back.
Mm.
That's the biggest thing. And so that's true leadership for me. So you're very true with the part of, how much you can do. Now, let's not, also make it seem like all my hard work going to go to everybody. Because a lot of people, they also feel entitled that because you're making it, or because you're getting the result for all the hard work and the sacrifice that you made, that now they're entitled, like, oh, that must be nice, or, this type of comment, or, no, well, yeah, it must be nice because I work hard for it. So,
Must be
you get what I'm
nice.
saying? So it's
I get what you're saying.
but the biggest thing is like leadership should be more what you can give back or educate people or bring back to your community, more than look at where I'm at. If you do what I say, this is where you can, get. It's more like, how can we all, but that doesn't mean like you're not entitled to have a better life. We all doing what we can to have a better life, right? We want to set ourselves, get a little bit more freedom and not being attached to certain things. But when we're talking about freedom, that means you need to be free also of all those materialistic things. Most people, they're not ready for that, because then that means that, they're not going to be part of that group or that community or that, and it's like a lot of, are you self-conscious to don't care about what people are going to think because your goals matter the most? So that's that part too. At this point, my birthday's coming up to do a giveaway.
Happy birthday.
But at this point, what I'm doing, of course I want to be able to enjoy life, but what I'm doing is not for me any longer. It's what I can leave and building for my kids, right? It's no longer about like I'm not gonna leave with all those things. It's more how can I keep on being better or help other people or because I've been in very dark places. I've been extremely broke, so that's part of the story that I was saying I was going to share is that I've been extremely financially challenged. See how I say the things like I've been broke. And struggling, and I was living on survival mode. So all those things, this is why I was saying the correlation about health and business. I've been functioning out of survival mode, going to a job to get paid so I can pay the bills, so I can continue on living and putting food in the table and things like that. But no longer, there was no what's next. It was like, how can I maintain and not getting broke again, or how can I not get into that situation again? And then it was, mentally also I was, getting, challenged with, the environment that I was in. So, I've been taking out of, my environment of my family. So it was hard. So I was by myself here. And so.
Oh, I wanted to ask just real quick. I was having a conversation with somebody recently about environment versus you, right? Meaning that how much. So let me draw the picture. I have to look at what I'm doing, right? Wrong. Because we have to work on ourselves, but then I also have to look at how the environment is impacting me. What percentage do you believe the environment impacts you?
How self-aware are you? I can't answer that for you, because if you're not there and able to see that sometimes you are your own, issue, you the problem. I had to like at my procrastination on a lot of things. It was easier for me to blame it on the outside, happening than I was still choosing to stay in those environment. My choices were making me stay stagnant or stay unhealthy, unhappy. So at some point it's like, what you gonna do about it? You keep on going
Interesting.
the same thing. So you're the one who's the problem. Your mindset is F up. So are you self-conscious of that, or are you going to keep on blaming others?
Interesting.
Nobody's going to come save you.
This is true. Nobody is going to come and save you, but people can support you though. I just want to double back on that. I think nobody's going to come and save you, right? Because people can't live your life for you. That's understandable. But I think it's important to have supporters. Because I don't want people to accidentally leave this conversation thinking that, oh yeah, nobody's going to come and save me, so it's totally up to me, which it is.
It is.
But it's always good to have support along the way too.
It's always good to have but if you don't, it doesn't matter.
Right. 100%. 100%.
So it's really up to you.
It is. So do you believe we have control over how things impact us? I'm reading a book on that right now. It's a very interesting book.
Yes. Again, it's more about are you willing to do the step that sometimes we are comfortable in a certain area. It works this way. I don't know. This is unknown for me if I do that. So I'm not sure. I don't want to mess up what I have right now that I know it's working this way. So that's how self-aware are you? What are your willingness to do something that is better for you? Are you willing to try something that might not work, but at least you try? But if it does work, amazing. So
wow.
Where I was at, like I said, that I decided I lost my dad from cancer in 2014, and that was from another country. I had to rush over there, and it was really that really hit me that life is freaking short. What the heck am I doing? I'm always constantly, like you seeing me now talking like this, I'm a complete different person. I was always bitter. I was overweight. I was at the first stage of obesity. I lost 75 pounds. Not overnight, guys. It took me almost 3 years, but I did it the right way to keep it off. That takes time and dedication. Same thing. Step back. I gained back some weight and, you know, things like that. So, but what I'm saying,
Wow.
all this, I was like, at some point, I'm like, what the heck am I doing? Is that really how I'm going to live my life? And so that's where I was like, I got to change. I was like, I'm going to have to start with myself because I have a kid. So what kind of parent am I if, you know, I'm not being healthy to be around her? Right. So, and what kind of, you know, as a parent, kids might not say, or they say that you know, you're annoying and all that stuff, but they watch. So the way
Wow.
I was always talking bad about myself, calling me well, and, you know, and I do at times, you know, stuff like that. But what I'm saying is, what are we telling them? That it's okay to bad talking to yourself, or that, you know, so it's like, you know,
Wow.
have faith in you. So I lost faith in myself. That's why I was letting myself go in many areas in my life. And I was capable of doing better. So
If you don't mind me asking, I wanted to divert into what were, because I did, you know, we did, you briefly emailed me and told me there was a series of life events
yeah.
that led up to you coming to America. And I would like for you to, now that we're talking about, it feels like the conversation is going in that way of what, you know, things that you overcame. And so I would love to hear that story about what was the series of events that led up to you coming to America and how did you overcome them, you know?
So I used to be to an American man. And so living in France was not his thing. So he wanted to move back. That was not my choice to come to the US. But you married, you have a family, all that stuff, you know, you do make decision, you follow your family, right? But, and then very quickly saw that, you know, things that didn't change and were not about to change. So again, it's, you know, but now I'm taking out of, you know, my environment, my cocoon, my family, all that stuff. And that's where I had to operate out of survival. Like I said, it was, you know, to not lose any more money, or not to, you know, how am I going to pay those bills? How are we going to, you know, so the marriage was challenging. And so at some point, and it's because of values, right? It's like, you know, you don't give up. So I was always with that hope that it's going to get better and better and better. And it was never. So it's like, that's why I talk about foundation all the time. When from the beginning, I saw the foundation was not there, but I kept on building and hoping. But my foundation of, you know, my relationship was not healthy, was not there. So I was building, and then what do you do when the foundation are not there? It collapsed. So my health got in decline. When I saw also my dad was not, you know, well. So I lost my dad in September 20. 3 months later, I lost my grandmother as well. So it's like I didn't even have a chance to grieve, and here again, right? So there is all this stuff, and so that was like a wake up call. And then my health was not great. I had multiple too, and so, and an ulcer, and but everything related, right? So I was not taking care of myself. I was overly emotional, very mad very easily, and because I was not happy, right? So, and I was trying to always please people because I thought that my worth came from my hard work. So that's all I was good at.
Wow.
So same thing at work, you know, high school, because I don't have any, you know, the stuff like that. I was not getting the position, but I was seeing people with that they were getting basically the money that for the stuff that I worked for. I was getting a $25 gift card, a pat in the back, and tell me I'm the best. But that, you know what I mean? So it's all the stuff that the frustration kept on building and building. And so once I decided to look at things the way that they were, and not being bitter about how people treating me, or how people are, you know, doing things not right by me. I'm like, but I'm not demanding those things for myself. So Um, so yeah, so that's where the health part started. And I was like, what are you doing?
Mm.
And let's start with this. I'm unhealthy. I can't do this. So I went on with, the health journey that, was very uncomfortable because like I said, I was the first stage of obesity. Like even walking, I was bleeding in my thighs, right? When it was
Wow.
or things like that. So I had to, move past this and dedicated myself that every day I was going to walk 30 minutes. And then next time, each time on that pond, I was like the next tree, go to the next tree this day, go to the next tree. So it was like little improvement. My health was really in decline, right? So it was all those things. But then I realized that, okay, working out is great, but apparently my nutrition is trash, right? So I was eating out of emotion. So I was really like eating that stuff and just to fulfill something. So I had
Yes.
a relationship with food. And so all those things, once you start getting better and feeling better in your health, your mindset in there you gain clarity. Then I'm like, no, I'm good at this or I'm good at that. And then it became something that the habit, started to kick in. And of course, I start feeling better. Therefore, my energy is better. So people approach me differently. I'm like, oh, you in a good mood? Oh, you look great. Or people see like a little light start to come on, right? So
Right.
you attract good things. And so that part was like, I dedicated myself. I cut my cable. I cut anything that would distract me from the goal that you have to get better and educate yourself. Financial literacy, that's where it kicked in too, because like I said, I was in a bad, situation. So I'm like, I don't know anything about the social, security number and credit, worthiness because I'm from France. So when I came here, I had, no credit, but I was buying
Right.
cash or outright because I'm like, I don't have no credit, so they're not gonna, approve me or things like that. So I'm like, I gotta change this because so that's where it all came to, being something important was to educate myself and see where my money was going. So I'm like, it's gonna be, if I want to pay that membership to that gym, then I'm gonna have to take down something or no longer gonna start prepping, and then you're gonna start going to bed earlier, and you don't need to be watching no TV or stuff like that. You're going to educate yourself on those things. So I was after school, or I was going straight to the gym, then from the gym going home, eating, taking care of my kid. And then after that, I was dedicating at least the last 1.5 to 2 hours to educating myself on financial literacy, business. And then I started helping some people with their business. And that's where I had shout out to CJ on that. He really instilled a lot of things in me, making me realize that, I'm not bad at what I do. I'm actually pretty good. And so that's where it came all about. And but I didn't quit my job just like that. It took.
Right. What was your job at the time? Because we didn't. I see that we never got to that part.
I was in a high school. I was in a yeah, I was in a high school. And so
You said as a what?
in
What were you doing?
with the principal, assistant principal.
Oh wow.
Yeah, so I was
Okay.
later, like I was not in the class. I was taking care of the French club, but I'm not a teacher. So
Oh, okay.
I saw
Okay.
also with the kids, I always love kids and, seeing people
Oh,
that, been, and so I was a lot with the kids too, sometimes they need to see a happy face and not someone that is always, telling them what to do, right? This is not prison. And then they had a healthy relationship with adults in the building, right? So
Mhm.
that can, if they want to say something, but making them realize certain type of things that life is not that bad. Sometimes people don't realize that those kids come to school and that's probably where they can breathe because they don't know what they have to deal with at the house. But here we go again, and we're there saying, don't go over there, don't go sit down here. Oh yeah. So you don't know, but they're young, so they don't know how to process with those type of emotion, and we keep on shutting them down. So
Mm.
that's that part that was big for me, and I love the kids. So yeah, so I did that for almost 8 years. Um,
Wow.
I loved it, but at some point, like I said, I was doing way more than what I was supposed to, but still not getting paid for what I was worth, right? So
Mm.
very quickly that those type of position, it's like if you know somebody or whatever, it's like you're not. Some people they were there for 20, 25 years, they don't have no qualification, but they were getting paid more, and you know what I mean? It's just a class
Yes.
scout thing. I was like, I'm tired of this. So
Nepotism. Yes, that is
yeah,
finest.
so
Yes.
that's where I was like, okay, I need to find. So that's where I start thinking of my exit strategy. So in entrepreneurship, a lot of people can say F this job. You cannot say F this job. This job right now is paying your bills. So let's not operating out of emotion and quitting. Let's, if you want to say F this job, do it and start writing down and having a proper budget, saying how much you need to survive and to leave, right? How much you need. And then seeing how much you have saved. At that time, I didn't even have much saved. So
Wow.
could not afford to do those things. Um, you have those things like that. Entrepreneurship, nobody is there to pay their part of your health insurance. You're gonna have you self-employed, self, it's you. So
Right.
you have to think of all those steps. So I had to plan on an exit strategy. And it took me almost 2 years before I fully quit my job. My goal was to make at least twice of what I was making. So you have to have that, and not just 1 month. Like, don't think because you sold 20 candles that you can go ahead and make a life out of it. You have to have you can make money and you can exit your job selling candles if you're doing it right.
Right.
So that's all I'm saying. But don't quit out of emotion. Make sure you have a plan. Try to see if you have a 401k that you work on it. What you can do to keep it or to transfer it. Try to see, if there is a insurance, or try getting, some insurance quote somewhere to see how much it would cost to, be covered for yourself.
Wow.
All those things. Have an exit strategy. Build the proper foundation. Start working on your business. It's going to be hard. It's going to suck, guys, but it's going to be so worth it, right? So find ways to
Wow.
make it work while you're still working. Learn everything of to do and not to do from your job.
Wow.
I'm
Hello?
sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
My battery started low.
Oh, no
But
problem.
so
Oh,
start thinking of
do you have a charger? Do you need this
um
to hold on or?
well, how much longer? It's gonna be an hour and a half.
Yeah, this is yeah, yeah, we can cut it down to an hour and a half. I got you. This is such a good interview, though. You're saying a lot of great things, and I feel like we still haven't even got to like the main part
But
of what you do, huh?
I just wanted to tell people who are thinking of entrepreneurship, yes, do it. Don't, like, I had to jump on it, but I did calculated risk and exit strategy. So
Nice.
that's that part. I want to keep it real, right? I don't want like that Beyonce song or whatever uh, that made people in their feeling that they deserve better. You deserve better, but show that you deserve also to have better by doing those things. So don't
Right.
think that tomorrow it's gonna happen just like that. It takes time.
Can you uh, reintroduce us to some of your businesses as we begin to close this down?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm a business strategist. I help people with start building their businesses and scaling. I help with marketing. I help with websites. I help with anything that is social media. I help with strategies. I help with funding, so financial literacy, business credits, personal credits. It goes together, guys. If you don't have
Wow.
a healthy relationship with finance on your personal side, how you gonna make money on the business side? So
Wow.
you can't avoid that part. So that's that other thing. And same thing. So financial literacy and so personal business and personal credits and business credits. I do anything that is fundamentals, fundamental of a business. A lot of people just think that creating an LLC is it. It goes way beyond that. So having proper foundation
Mm.
is super important. Then you can grow and scale. So you don't have to go back to it. You go to step 1, 2, and then you want to be at 7, 8, 9, 10. But once you can go past 10 because you haven't done the 4, 5, 6. So
Wow.
you know what I mean?
I understand. I understand.
Yeah.
And the second business you say is fitness
Athletic spa.
and wellness?
Yeah, it's fitness and wellness, athletic spa nutrition. So during the pandemic, we have Athletic Spa, which is our fitness brand, but Athletic Spa Nutrition was created in during the pandemic because we had to shift, right? So we do personal training and boxing, combative movement. We do
Wow.
we do all of that, but we realized during COVID that we had to shift. So most of people, it's like nutrition and nutrients and how to feel, right? You cannot have results if your nutrition is not in place, and you cannot run a business if you're not healthy. That's the
Right.
So that's where we have our wellness business. And so we have anything that is for lion's mane. It's a mushroom with brain enhancer that help you with clarity, focus, all that stuff. We have elderberry, we have iron pills, we have mandarin. So we are plant-based, right? So no fillers, no nothing. It's not the capsules that are it's just herbs, right? So we have soursop tea, we have and we
Wow.
have a line now that is coming up with organic soap, bath salts, things like that. But anything that goes together, right? So yeah, so I always vouch that anyone who wants to better their life, you got to have a better health.
Wow. Wow. Amazing. As we start to close the interview, just for the respect of your time, and I know you're running out of battery, what advice can you give to somebody that's looking to reinvent themselves and getting to know themselves in a different way?
Don't be afraid to look within yourself. Stop procrastinating.
She said I got straight to the point with that one. Oh,
Yeah.
I didn't ask you this question before, but how is it being a mother and running a business? What is that like for you?
Great question. So my daughter is, she's going to be 19 next month.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, I'm getting old. But when I started, so the balance, people talk about balance and things like that. The word balance, I no longer use that so much because it's part of how it's going to be, right? So balancing, it's more about making sure that I take enough time for her, enough time for me, and enough time for the business. You see how I put that in that order? Because that's how,
Right.
right? So, but I would say if you communication, you have to talk to your kids. You can't avoid telling them how you have to have healthy boundaries that some stuff are not to be said and stressing out the kid saying, oh my God. You can't do that either. I'm saying is have a conversation and put them in the place of they can see what you're doing and why you're doing it. I always open communication of my daughter. Like, what's the point for me to do all this if she's not part of it and understanding why I'm doing it and how she can have a good credit? Like, she bought her car herself and we work on her building her credit. I didn't co-sign or none of that. And understanding also when, all of her friends was getting their car at 16, 17, I say, you don't need no car and you don't have the money for a car. I'm not doing that. So that's, the other, if you open-minded and talk to your kids and then they see you, what you're doing, also instill them on the fact that you can change your life. This is what I'm the most proud about is I want her. And that's also what I did. What I did was I wanted to show her, don't stay in a situation that you don't want to be in. Like, it's okay. You have to get out. Why am I showing her if I'm staying with a person that, I'm not happy with? I don't want my kid to do the same thing. So I have to show her with, being graceful with yourself, but, you can do it. If you do, so she does see the hard work that I'm putting. She does see, the downside at time that I'm going to work, late on the computer, but at took my time during the day to take 2 hours for myself. That's my rule. 2 hours for myself every day, no matter what. I don't care how my schedule is. I'm gonna take 2 hours for me.
Wow. And those 2 hours look like meditation. What does the 2 hours look like? Would you meditate? Just
It depends on my mood. Lately, I've been reading a dope book. So I read that book a lot, but I have to be moving the body too, right? We are very on our phone, on the computer. You got to move that body. So go outside, go for a walk, run my heels, not run, walk my heels, workout, doing yoga. Who cares? Getting a pedicure.
wow.
Anything. It depends on my mood, but 2 hours are for myself per day. I work every day though. So,
Nice.
like,
Wow.
right. Saturday, Sunday, I have stuff going on,
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Um, wow, that was an amazing explanation. Do you outside of everything that you have going on, do you have time for like, someone you might be interested in? Do you fit dating into the business at all? Not into business, but is that in your life or that's completely off the table for a woman like yourself that's so busy?
For what?
She said, "For what?" Oh man, oh man, oh man, oh man. Wow.
It's
Wow. Wow.
that's taking away time for me to do something that's, for what?
Interesting. Interesting. I have a different approach to that. I do. I do. Because I do want to have a kid. I'm not there just yet.
Yeah.
But me, I don't fit it in necessarily, but I do keep myself open in that realm for myself personally.
I have a kid. I've been married for 14 years. It's like, you get what I'm saying?
I get what you're saying.
I like that. I'm not young either. What am I going to be out for? I don't.
I love the way you describe it.
But you get what I'm saying? It's like
I get what you're saying.
and I'm fulfilling something that I was missing in my life. So I never felt better, having dope conversation with entrepreneur or aspiring, like business clients or anybody, right? It's like it's healthy exchange. Like, let's not making, adding something that, it takes time to get to know a person.
That was funny.
Don't do social media. Yeah, okay.
I respect your perspective on that. That was cool. But last but not least, huh?
I'm dating myself.
You're dating yourself. Don't. It's always great to be in love with yourself. I myself believe in, sharing love with other people. I don't want to. I watch my grandmother. Unfortunately, she's on her way out right now. But she went through 3 marriages and she decided to be alone for the rest of her life. I thought that was just an interesting approach towards it. As I get older, I do want to share my stage with someone else, especially when I'm building. I do want that to be, passed along maybe to someone else, whether it be my family or someone who I have intimate relations with or a kid with, or we'll just see how that looks, right? But I do want to build some type of legacy, and I do believe that a nuclear family unit is somewhat required for that, to me.
I wish you find, the right, but
Thank you. Appreciate that.
you shouldn't, try to look for it. Like, just work on yourself, work on, what you do. That person will appear when it's
100%, 100%. I think I feel 50-50 about that. So my thing is, people say that, but I also feel like you have to not necessarily be looking, but you have to be open, right? You can't be so like, because there's been times that I felt like I was just so laser focused that people did try to come and approach, and I was just like, no, and just mowed straight through the. You said,
don't beat yourself up on that. That was not their
oh
time.
no,
that was time for you to focus. That was not their time to enter your life.
Right. I'm feeding more based on the thing of captivating moments, right? I see a lot of people, they grow old with certain regrets, and I don't want to grow old with no regrets, right? And so one of the things that I work on to not grow old with regrets is captivating moments, whether it's captivating moments through my look at nature, like watching a butterfly pass by my eyes, watching two kittens wrestle back and forth together, watching a baby look at me and smile and pull on his ear because babies do that in terms of me having gauges, so it's captivating these certain moments. And sometimes I feel like we often overlook captivating certain moments with individuals, and intimacy doesn't always have to look sexual. I think that's also been something that's been misconstrued in this day and age. And so what I sometimes feel the urge for is to have maybe just share an intimate moment with somebody that leads to a captivating moment instead of just going through life in a blur, because we're taught, like I said, in American culture a lot, it's just focus on this, focus on that, go, go, go. And then when I see certain people's in later interviews that they do later on in their life, it's like, well, if I could take one thing back. And what I've noticed the pattern is that they spent a lot of their time just like, and not, it was like money, money, money. It did, but outside of that, there wasn't a lot of other sustainable relationships that they've made outside of just business relationships, because you're going to want somebody, I feel like I will want somebody around me before the big, money starts to even come, because I need to know that you're around me, not for what you can gain, but for who I am, And so I think that's a very interesting approach to difference in perspective there.
Yeah.
So.
If the person is willing to who you are, a lot of people enter a relationship because they feel entitled of something, of a title, a result, way of being treated, or things like that. Not how the other person, where it's it's a lot of that's on another subject or stuff like that. But
It is.
I feel good. I feel good. I change a lot of things in my life. I get to know myself better in the process, and so I would be lying to myself if it's not my time.
And that's perfectly fine. It's not my time right now, neither. That's why I'm here with you right now on Human, interviewing you. I'm focused on getting this back up and running the way it needs to. So without further ado, though, as I ask everybody, um, what does being human mean to you?
Being human, being able to oh, can you see me now? Yeah,
I can see you now.
So let's finish it.
No, I got you. No problem.
Being human,
this is the last question.
Yes, being human to me is being able to be compassionate, being able to allow people to be who they are. That's what being human, right? So that's how you being human. We're all human. It's accepting people for who they are and not trying to control them.
Wow. Very well said. Very well said. Well, listen, please let the audience know where they can find you online. Amazing interview. I wish you did have more time. I know that, an hour and 37 minutes is just under serving. Huh?
That's a long interview.
It is a long interview, but yours could have went on for like 2 hours and 30 minutes. You really had a lot of things to express that were amazing, and that I liked 100%. Yeah, it was great. But yes, please tell the audience your website, anything that you would like them to know, because this will be viewed at a later time on YouTube and other platforms that are out.
So my name is Frenchie, aka the Dot Connector. I help entrepreneurs start their businesses. I just tag myself at Dubois Bees. That's on Instagram. You'll have, link in my bio to see all the services. I do have a 4-week program for any new entrepreneurs. I also help people who are already in business with their marketing, doing websites, financial literacy. Basically think of me of, your one-time shop for everything that, your business would need. So if it's not, with me, I partner with a lot of people, business lawyers, insurance, right? So all that kind of stuff. There you go.
Wow.
Thank you so much.
Amazing. You are very welcome. Everybody, this interview will be out in the next 24 hours. Thank you so much once again, Frenchie. And to everyone out there, please remember we are all human, all right? Have a great day, and you too. And I'll be in contact with you, all right? Have a good one.
Peace.
Peace.